Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to Let's Talk Scholarship. And today we have a very interesting topic, which is leveraging volunteering opportunities, where you get to hear about how to volunteer, how to apply it in your CV, how to take advantage of opportunities, the challenges that comes with volunteering, and how to recognize a volunteering opportunity, and just personal stories from our speakers today. So, without wasting much of your time, apologies for starting late. We are also expecting one of our other speakers. She's on transit, but will be here soon. So my name is 𝐒𝐤𝐬 Matilda Ekoko. I know it's been a while since I hosted. I'm always at the background, but I'm just glad to be here today. And the other host is on vacation. All right. So let me allow the other speakers introduce themselves. So I'll start with the lady in the same building.
Okay. Thank you, Matilda. I'm used to calling you Angel anyways.
Yeah, no one is fine.
Sure. Yeah, so my name is 𝐶𝐬 Masano. So I'm glad to be here. As I said last week, I studied at the University of East Anglia under the 𝐒𝐜𝐴𝐺𝐸 scholarship. So yeah, I think I'll talk about more on the volunteering activities or anything that I've engaged in the past, and also I think just taking on highlighting some other volunteering activities I've seen my friends also being engaged with. So I'll just tap into their experiences to share on this platform today. Thank you.
And so the only gentleman in our midst in a different building, Michael.
I am the only one that I've chosen to be different today,
Yes.
and I stand by my difference. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Okolo, and yeah, I'm Commonwealth Shared Scholar, and I'm currently a PhD student at Loughborough University here. So, I'm so happy to be here again to share our own journey with every one of us. And today we're looking at leveraging volunteering opportunities and hope to share one or two tips that could make a difference in your journey. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, the man on the other building. No, I want to start with what you ended with, one or two difference. So let's see. So anybody can speak, just like just to start the groove. Can you tell me one thing interesting about volunteering? This is personal, okay? I might agree, I might not agree, so it's fine. Just it's for you. So one thing interesting about volunteering, anyone can start. But maybe the lady in the same building should start first. Sorry. Yeah.
For me, I think I would say volunteering is something that I would put it as it's a personal choice. So yeah, I would call it's a personal choice, but also you get to select what you want to do as a person in terms of where you want to channel your expertise, or where you want to channel where you want to learn or to leverage your expertise that you feel they are inadequate. So it's a best way of you learning something, but at the same time it's you having the choice. You had liberty to choose whatever it is that you want to do. So that's the good thing with the volunteering, I would say so.
Yeah, honestly, I love that choice and learning
Mhm,
something. Yeah,
mhm.
before we go to Michael, we have people joining in. So hello to Aginos. Thank you. I don't know where you're getting from, but thank you for joining us. Thank you, Moyo for joining us. Can you let us know where you're joining in from? Thank you, 𝐒𝐬𝐴 from Malawi. And thank you, Agnes from Nigeria. Okay, that's great. So please, this is a very interactive section. So just feel free to drop your questions, and I'll also try to go to Facebook and LinkedIn to see what the audience are also saying. And if you happen to hear noise in my background, there's a train line, so trains are passing by. Sorry for that. All right, so choice and learning. That's interesting. So let's go over to the man in the other building. I'm so sorry, Michael, but yeah, it's okay. For you, what's interesting or possibly what's not interesting? It's your choice.
Uh, I think will I say it's interesting or not, or sometimes it usually comes to the point of being painful. I think when it comes to volunteering, many of us do not really know that the activities we are currently engaged in is actually a volunteering activity. We cannot see it as an everyday I get up, I help somebody I help a set of people with a challenge, and then that is just it. So I think for me, it took me a while before I could recognize that this particular activity I had done and I had done in the past, I was currently doing is actually a volunteering activity. So, and it took a whole lot of deep reflection for me. So for me, I think that is the one thing that keeps touching me about volunteering activity, because I would like to naturally so based on your personality, Marcelo talks about what you are currently doing. When you want to gain expertise on a particular area, but many of us have different personalities that we just want to help people as much as we can. Or you see somebody doing a project, you want to just jump in and say, "Oh, let me just help you." But at the end of the day, you won't find out that it then would not take you a deeper reflection process for you to identify that which you had done like a year ago, 2 years ago, is actually a volunteering activity. So for me, it's that crux of being able to identify the activity under volunteering.
Okay, I'm so sorry, or rather, you keep taking me to my next word, Michael. So it's good that you're in a different building. Maybe that's why. So you say maybe it takes like maybe 2 years, and you now realize that what you did was volunteering or so. Can you possibly, any of you, mention those things that people do that, but they don't know it's volunteering? Those things that they think they are just little, or just things that people would not think normally is volunteering, just random. Sorry if I put you on the spot, because this is it's not a
Yeah.
class session, so anybody can go in.
Okay. I think I'll come in. The perfect example would be the webinars that we are doing right now.
Oh no, I am jealous.
Yeah. So we are currently doing these kinds of webinars, and I've been doing them, I think, since last year when I joined, I think 2022. But at that point, I was just like, okay, I've won a scholarship. I also want other people to come in to also know about the scholarships as much as possible, everyone else to just have information, because sometimes you fail to apply for these scholarships because you don't know where to start from. So when I first started like joining in on webinars, it was just like, okay, let me just jump on this and then at least provide what is I have gone through. But looking back, you see that this is also part of the volunteering process, in as much as I might not have seen it like when I was starting it, but then coming down to this level, it's like, okay, yes, this is one of the volunteering activities. So if I might mention one thing, this would be the webinar. Another one would be if, for example, you're like in the church, those other smaller things you might think I'm just being in the church as a youth reader, or as a secondary school, not as a secondary, but as what do we call this, young person's Bible teacher or something. Those are some of the volunteering activities we fail to identify that that's also volunteering, because if in your church they have entrusted you to be like a youth leader or a Sunday school teacher, those are some of the volunteering activities that we do on in week in, week out, but we fail to mention them, to amplify them even in our applications. So those are some of those I can point out right now.
All right, thank you, Mike. I know you want to have a lot to say, but I want to pause for
Okay.
before you go on. I just want to say we have our before I introduce the next speaker, we have Buchi. Buchi is been the one hosting this webinar for the past couple of months, but it's on vacation. But he came to say hi. So Buchi, thank you for saying hi from the audience today. But if you're free, you can pop in for 2 minutes and show your face and disappear. It's fine, okay? All right. Before Michael speaks, we have Evelyn. Evelyn is also one of our speakers. Can you just quickly introduce yourself? Then Michael can continue. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm Evelyn Nsimakifunda, the president and founder of Green Environment Promotion, an organization I founded after my undergraduate degree in Makerere University in Uganda. And I've been running this project for the past 15 years, literally volunteering. And I am very happy and delighted to be part of this space. I'm looking forward to sharing more. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. We're happy to have you here. And just to say this, I met Evelyn through volunteering. So yeah, this is the funny story. Okay, I met her. Wait, is it this month? Yeah, this month.
Exactly.
Yeah, I met her this month, and guess what she wanted from me to do? Just to help her take picture, like take picture. So I volunteered to take picture for Evelyn, and today Evelyn is here to speak. You see, volunteering. So yeah, and also Evelyn also won an European award. So we'll talk about that later. But let's just go over to Michael. So Evelyn, we're speaking about what are those things that people don't know is volunteering, but they do, but they don't know. I want to just mention a few. So Michael will continue, then you can also chip in, then we'll go to the next question.
All
So
right.
Michael,
Thank you, AJ, and a big kudos to the mentions Chinwe have indicated. I think another thing for me when it comes to what people don't know as volunteering, are school activities. I think I would just put that school activities under two branches. The first one would be, there is this organizations for department. Like if you are in under a course, let's say for me, I'll use the engineering definition. You have National Association of Engineering Students or National Nigerian Institution of Mechanical Engineers. That was for my own department. So those took care of the students in the department, and you then have students that will be leaders for those departments. So, in as much as majority of those positions actually they are not being paid, they are not paid positions. So you just come, and it gives you direct interactions with your lecturers. It gives you direct interaction with the faculty. It even gives you interaction with the overhead students union in the whole university. So depending on the kind of situation and cases that arises. So you see that in that process itself, you are helping to resolve issues. You are helping to attend to the needs of students in the department. And there are various opportunities where you become like leaders. I know in my second year in the university, because the first year was a very introductory year for us coming in and everybody getting. So immediately I've completed my first year. I was just in a general departmental meeting where they just called it like normal meeting, everybody students in department. Or, and those meetings, not everybody attend those meetings, even though you are 200, 500, but so just a couple of people attended. And in me, you just put, why not put in for this position in your second year? So I applied to be the student representative council member of the department. That was where it all started for me. So each year I was doing something in my department. Each year, from the student rep council to I think the third year, I moved to the social director. Um, the fourth year, so third year, I moved to the students rep unit again. So the third year it was social director, and the fourth year was an IT year for me, so I couldn't do anything. And all indications was that I'll become the departmental president. So I'm just trying to say that there are also these points in the department. There are also points of volunteering because they are not paid position basically. I think marks that you get maybe when you eventually become like the president of the department, like funds allocation to organize seminars for your program for your students. And yes, that brings me to another point. There are certain times where these associations they come up with training programs like card programs, like personal development programs, so and they need people to either act as ushers, they need people to act as coordinators, they need people to develop programs, activity for the day. So this is another point of volunteering that you can be able to structure that. Yeah, from this point, I know from those programs I actually develop quite a number of skills from there. That was where I learned my first what's it called card program that I began to develop on. And even I helped organize the program itself, but in the process, I also learned. And believe me, from that interaction of that year, I got connections. Like I got connected with the students, the national coordinator of the students for mechanical engineers in the country, just through volunteering, just by coming together to organize that program. So it gave me a leverage, and from that point of that connection, I met the Lagos chairman. That's the professional body itself, the Lagos chairman. From that point, so it started from my department, and from that level, I moved to the national level where I had interaction, and it was even true. I'm telling that literally from that process, it was that even that communication with the woman that gave me my IT position. that she stood as a reference for my industrial experience, which I did in Dangote Refinery. The first one was in Lafarge Cement, and the second one, because I was not getting enough training, I then moved to Dangote Sugar Refinery in Apapa. It was just through by volunteering from the lowest level up until I got to that point, and we are still in contact with majority of them today. So these are the things from that. Just these interactions in the department also has a lot of good to do for everyone. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We thank you, thank you, thank you. I just found something interesting. Volunteering can give you network. Yeah, it can also give you also influence. And also for me, I did something for someone and it got me a job. So volunteering can actually go beyond volunteering, it can give you something. So let's hear Evelyn will give us a different perspective. What are those things that people do but they don't think is volunteering? Evelyn.
Okay, thank you so very much, and apologies once again for coming in late. I was on the road, and I'm so glad that I really caught up. Yeah. Just as said, I am the founder and the president of Green Environment Promotion. This is an organization I founded in 2007 after my undergraduate program, which led me to go back to my rural community in Uganda, where I have been volunteering since then. I have not been formally employed by an organization, but all my days after graduation, I have been volunteering. What have I done under this organization? I have been planting several trees, and I'm proud to say that I've planted over 2 million trees. However, I have not done it by myself. Other people in the community have volunteered to plant trees. And through this, definitely, because I did volunteer to do tree planting, I was able to have a positive impact on the community and still awarded an award as the best tree planter. That is in 2013, just because I volunteered to plant trees and the world saw.
It's impressive.
Yes,
I love that.
exactly. Yeah, thank you very much. And not only was I given that award, but even the United Nations also gave me an award as the unsung heroine in the environment category for planting trees still in the same year, that is in 2013. What else have I done? Definitely so very many people who have had opportunity to enhance their education capability, right? Most people tend to keep in cities and in towns and in developed countries. Even after my education, I chose to go back to the rural communities and begin up sustainable development initiatives, and of which an approach that people in the rural communities definitely appreciate. And that said, I have had several opportunities to go on radio talk shows, just to volunteer and speak to millions of people about the initiatives I did start in rural communities that are positively impacting and improving on the livelihoods of people. Several times, I have over 500 rural women groups that I, alternate to go and train and sensitize on how to participate in several, multiplier, projects or programs that, help them add value to their lives or afford basic needs like, most of the women groups in the rural communities, um, did not understand what it means by participating in sustainable initiatives. What they did, they saved money and bought saucepans or plates rather than buying either a hen, a goat, a pig that had a multiplier effect. And as somebody who had opportunity to study from University of Leeds and did my master's in science in development and environment, I definitely got that, the practical skills from University of Leeds and went back to my community. And every time I'm on radio, I am sharing the expertise, the knowledge, the practical skills I gained. And thousands and thousands of women and men and youth tapping from, this, and which I do voluntarily. Last month in June, early June, I was really surprised, whereby a group I gave just one goat, the entire 100 women all from one goat, they all received a goat because of that multiplier effect. And they did call me to go and get a goat myself. And to me, which was really, really impressive. That said, there's quite a lot we can do to all volunteer, and have an impact in our societies. Definitely, I see my friend, Jerry Matilda just online. There are very many people who still in rural communities who cannot afford sanitary pads, and some people might not believe that, but definitely as somebody who volunteers to work with rural communities, I didn't mention that I still founded a school called St. Elizabeth in the rural community, because after my master's program, I did realize that so many people definitely are really struggling to afford, basic education, and I definitely have a school in the rural community, and I definitely know people do not afford pads because I work in the communities, and I have volunteered to teach these people how to make pads, how to make soap using the natural, herbs that we have in our. And to me, I've really gotten fulfillment. And I just want to, I don't know if I'm really speaking a lot, but through these initiatives I've started in 2022, I was given another award, the International Rural Women Award, because of championing these initiatives in the rural communities. And yeah, through volunteering, there's quite a lot you really can get. And just the last month, the European Union gave me an award as the outstanding female on climate change at grassroots level. So there's quite a lot I've benefited out of volunteering. And those are some of the, ways I've been volunteering. And I still can insist and say it again, volunteering there's quite a lot you can benefit out of it.
Wow, wow. Before I say anything, does my my co-speakers or co-hosts today want to say anything before I go on? Any of you? Okay.
Yeah, just to jump in to say, that was quite interesting and very impressive.
Yeah.
That you've got to do such kind of work, and also going back to the communities who are the underprivileged, who also need as much more as we are doing all of this. At the back of our minds is also, where are we coming from? What have we done in our communities? And tree planting is one of the initiatives where it's like our continent is affected right now with climate change. If one person can rise up to do such kind of a noble job, that's like very, very impressive. I'm so glad to be here with you. So that's what I wanted to say right now as we jump into other things. Sure.
Okay, Michael in the other building. Should I go on? I want to say something. You're muted, Michael. Michael, you're muted.
As she was speaking, I remember the Chinese proverb
Okay.
that said that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and
Oh,
the next best time is now. Is now.
today.
Yeah.
So
What is that
yeah,
Yeah.
planting?
to plant a tree. Yeah, I remember. There are many such initiatives currently going on with regards to how to address climate change, and most especially again is anything that's mostly affected the environment. I think it's also another opportunity to also put out your. You don't need much expertise to do this thing. It's just a selfless act. So it's just for you to just show a act of contributing to the community. You see people where you have a lot of one of the challenges right now. Another aspect is flooding. And when you look at a new point, I'm bringing points where people can volunteer anyway. You see that one of the things that cause flooding is blockage of drainages. And this can be rectified just by young people coming together in the community. This drainage is meant to serve everybody. Come together on a particular day. When you call a couple of friends, you see that by the time you just come together, pull this debt out of the drainage, find out to dispose it properly. Now the next rains are coming, the water just goes in naturally without having to cause any act of flooding or whatsoever. And you have done this. You see young people see you doing it, they'll be like, oh, this is a good point for me to assist or contribute. So it doesn't have to be anything big. People should not expect that you have to go to a company to go and volunteer. No, you can start your volunteer journey right there in your community. It's just you identifying where you need to contribute your act. Planting trees is one. Clearing of drainages, cleaning the environment is another one. Another aspect again is plastic pollution. There's a lot to this thing. Plastic pollution is also another angle to it. And believe me, there are communities where plastic is invading their livelihood. And there's this research. I remember there was time I was writing a proposal for like a short business, and we discovered that the multiplied effect of plastic in the community actually decreases the health standard of that community. That means there's so much opportunity for disease to thrive in a place that is being infested with plastic. So imagine someone coming together. There are points where you can transform these plastics into ceramics, into what's it called, paving stones. You can bring that down into paving stones, bring this, shape them into beautiful materials in the house. So there, there are a lot of opportunities around us. So it's just for you to identify which one. And one of the mistakes I see people make is that they want to get from here to there.
From A to Z.
From A to Z. The journey from A to Z, you have to pass the B, the C, the D before you get to that point. So it is those little things that accumulate into what you are seeing today. If you ask any of us here on this call, it started by doing the little things, the smallest of things. We did not just appear on this call to just start holding all of this. We did not just appear. The journey starts from the smallest of things, the most insignificant thing that you think is not has no gain. So please and please start from that little thing that you see in your environment, even in your house. Start from there, and you never might know. You might be
Wow.
getting there very soon.
Thank you so much. This is very, very interesting. Just to do a recap, planting trees, plastic, please, you must not be a tree planter or do plastic. These are just what we do. There are other things. So don't think, oh no, I must be a tree planter. No, there are other things. And speaking of tree planting, did you say 2 million trees? 2 million?
Yes,
Yes.
to me.
Yes, I planted 2 million, and actually my target is to plant 1 billion. That's my challenge.
Oh my God. So that is almost like in the next 5 years? Oh,
Exactly, yeah.
the mathematics, how many? But that's impressive, seriously. And just out of curiosity, you said you are awarded the best tree planter, right? Was that actually an award, or that award came on because of you? I just need to know.
No, I planted trees and people really go. I began planting trees when I was at a very young age, and most people thought that planting was for male. It had that gender perspective aligned to it, and they were really surprised when they got to know that Evelyn, a very young girl by then, was planting trees, extensively, and I was given an award, actually by European Union in conjunction with the Norwegian government and government of Uganda. Yeah, I have the award. Yeah.
Well, that's impressive. So, in a nutshell, people, you can actually create, like the speaker have said, volunteering opportunities yourself, or you work with others. And there are people that actually won't create for others, like Evelyn created for others to plant trees with her. Now, this platform is, I created it, people are joining me. Michael, Mas and all of you, they have all one kind of volunteering opportunities or the other. So, please, there are many ways to do it. Just identify a need, identify a problem, and that is an opportunity for you to start volunteering. So let's go to the next thing is, okay, now I know we have students, we have non-students, so we have a balanced panel. How do we apply this in application? Because now most scholarship, for example, or even jobs, scholarship, jobs, whatever you call the applications, they want to see the other side. How do you volunteer? So how do you apply this to submit a strong application? Because I know we have students on the line, and also we have maybe possibly some workers going for job interviews or something. How can you apply this to make you stand out? So we want to start first.
I think
Yeah.
it's just okay.
Can I chip in?
Okay, Evelyn, fine. You can start first. That's
Okay,
fine.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I think that is a very good question, my friend 𝐒𝐤𝐬. In 2020, I think the International Visitor Leadership Program that is usually offered by USA. This is a program where you go to USA and learn more about leadership skills. I hadn't applied for it, right? But because for the past years I had been volunteering, people got to know what 𝐒𝐤𝐴LYN does and they chose me. That said, for all the activities, the volunteering activities I had been doing for the past years, people watched. It was the truth. It was part of my CV that it was easy for people to handpick me and recommend me for this international leadership program. And this relates to also other normal scholarships. Yes, one might apply for a scholarship. And definitely, if you have been volunteering in a particular space, right? Because now we are now part of social media. People tend to search and know who we are in whatever environment just by what you post, what people post about you, what people say about you. And if you've been volunteering, definitely, it will definitely somehow pop up and people will know you before you even apply for something. So it's really good to do volunteering, all things in your space, in your life, so that when you apply for a scholarship, then you're easily recommended or easily shortlisted, for these offers. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So, Kate, do you want to go on? Thank
Yes.
you.
Okay. So thank you so much, Evelyn. Yeah. That point that she said that we are living in an internet era where, or not without even internet, some of these opportunities, people might just come across them and see that and pass them to you because they know what you're doing. But at the same time, it's also like if you are applying for a job or for scholarship opportunities and you've been volunteering, look at the requirements of which, for example, if it's a job or if it's a scholarship, look at the requirements itself. So one of the things that most scholarships will require you to do is at least to have volunteering, because I've seen that they also know that with volunteering you get skills or knowledge that is also practically good for you as you are embarking on your journey, because you're not starting from zero. If you go to a class and you have that knowledge from your volunteering experience, they know that the scholarship bodies know that it's not going to get you like a hard time for you to acclimatize yourself into the whole routine of the academic pressure, because you have some kind of knowledge to apply to it as you are in class. So for you, when you are doing your applications, the first thing is for you to identify the course that you are applying for. If it's for a course and a scholarship, is for you to also identify what does that scholarship stand for. What are the like in terms of thematic areas? What are the thematic areas? Have you involved yourself in volunteering activities in terms of those thematic areas? For example, might be gender, might be education, might be climate change or environment issues, might be security issues. So in terms of volunteering, you can volunteer in many thematic areas. But the beauty is, as I said when I first spoke, is that you get to choose what you think would be ideal with you and what you think you can also apply in the future in terms of job applications or scholarship applications. So whenever you're applying for a scholarship, that means you identify yourself as an individual, that this is where I'm going. So for example, you are in the gender space. That means not all, but most of your volunteering might be maybe to do with, for example, gender. We see Evelyn here. Even if she's applying for like a certain kind of maybe a job, a scholarship, that means we'll lean on to climate change issues, environmental issues, because that's where she is. So in terms of when you're applying for this kind of scholarship or anything else, the first thing is you identify your thematic area in what you've done in that, in what you hope to do in the future, because you don't just take a volunteering from this other and then put it in. Another way is also some of these volunteering activities, it's not just about the thematic areas. No, no. Some other scholarships will also look at leadership opportunities. Where have you exercised your leadership potential? So you look at these other, for example, a church. A church is not confined to, for example, to gender or education or some. Yes, you can put it, for example, if you're applying for like education course, if you've been teaching, if you've been in a secondary school, like not a Sunday school teacher, that means there is a teaching element in there. You see, that's how you apply the volunteering that you've done to this other. But also there is also other opportunities where you also exercise leadership. For example, Michael here mentioned being a president of a school club. That is an example where you're putting in your expertise as a leader of a school club. So you take that and put it in this application to show that you have the leadership potential. And also, as you're working, Michael also mentioned about the networking. So you see, these scholarships, they also want to see that how have you networked? So, and how has these networks benefited you or the other person? So, in these volunteering activities, you are also gaining that network. You are also building your network. You're helping the network. The network is also helping you. So you single out what that scholarship wants, what that scholarship is talking to you. So put on all of those. The thematic ones, you put them here. The leadership, for example, if they want some skills that you've gained through your leadership, you also take on all these other leadership opportunities that you've had and highlight them, whether in your application or if for a job or whether in an application for a scholarship. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Kind of a waste of time, Michael.
Said a lot. Like she has. I don't know how many people are listening on the call, but if I were you, I would go back to replay this video because a lot of value has been given. She has mentioned actually a lot because as she was making some mentions, I remember my application process also, especially on Commonwealth and on Chevening. And so now I'm talking about applications now. I wanted to, yeah. So I was looking at because I discovered that Chevening tended towards more on leadership and networking. Why Commonwealth was talking about global impact, how you impact the community or what you have done, and describe your personal yourself. So there were two different applications, and that meant that I needed to concentrate or sieve out my volunteering experiences that I have had and apply them to two different programs, meaning that you would have to have deep self-reflection when you are making these applications, very deep one. That is, you would then have to be thinking of, yeah, I know I have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but I cannot add 1 to 8 in this application package. It will do me more harm than good. So you have to sieve them out. That means it is very important that you reflect on your journey and how particular points can help you in this application. So if you are going to apply for chief, then definitely you will be bringing out your leadership experiences, leadership volunteering experiences, um, looking at how those volunteering experiences have helped you to build network. So if we want to make mention of, okay, I'll just use myself as an example of what I mentioned earlier, that through volunteering in my department, assisted in training students on computer aided design, and from there I got connection to communicate with the national students body, and from there we're looking at building providing solutions for students, training students also, and at that point, from that singular connection, you also got a connection to what build another network in the Lagos chapter of the body itself. So it's just about how you can then apply these mentions, apply these categories to your journey. And one more thing I want to make mention of is that the way you can apply this past your volunteering experiences is for you to look at yourself again. I keep saying self-reflection, deeper reflection, and then now pick a niche where you can go. You can't do everything. There's this saying that a jack of all trade is master of none. So, in as much as you are doing a lot of things, you have to pick one where you become an expert, where you'll be known. Now, if we are to mention our guest speaker now, you see that our main strength is in planting of trees. So that is a niche where she has been yeah, she has looking at going to 1 billion. So that is a niche she has kept for herself, which she's looking to actualize in the next 5 years. So if you are talking about trees in that community, everybody knows the person they want to refer to. So you need to be known by everybody, but you can't do everything to be known. You have to do one singular thing. It might not be one, it can be two, but something that you gain expertise on, and then you can apply to your applications. Now, another aspect is how do I want to put this for people to understand? Is becoming a storyteller. See, you might have all the volunteering experiences you can, but if you cannot write about yourself, there's a danger. Communication skills, building communication skills. If I've never met you before and you have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things, and you just listed them, I've done this, is still not helping your profile. But you must be able to tell me in such a way that is so funny, or is so is so interactive, that I remember there was somebody I had never met before, and he asked me to introduce himself and tell him about. He gave me a list of questions to respond to, and the way I addressed that question, even he didn't tell me the feedback um, personally, but he told the person that was supposed to, like, that was like our intermediary. He said when he was reading the conversation, when he was reading the description, it was as if I was in front of him telling him about myself. So he needed no other questions. He needed no other clarity to get from. Why? Because from what I have written and described, he has gotten a good picture of who I am and what I am doing. So if you are not able to tell your story properly for people to understand and see, and to see that you have value to give, because one of the reasons why you'll be using your volunteering skills for application is that you are telling who, whoever the reviewer is that there is something you have to give apart from what he or she is seeing on paper. And there is this thing that is known, that from what you have done, a track I've forgotten that word, that a consistent track record is a good prediction of what you will do in the future. So if that track record is not properly described, then there is no clarity of how the future would be under that fellowship or program. So please and please, I don't know. God bless you.
Before even Evelyn could come in, yeah, just had before Angel. Apologies for that.
No, it's
Yeah,
fine.
a thought just came in. I have been meaning to share it. One other thing that I also discovered is that maybe we think of volunteering just from like in our student years, and maybe at some point when we start work, we feel like, no, I think I cannot volunteer anymore. So I just wanted to share like a personal story, like for me. So when I had volunteered when I was in my student years. So when I started work, there was also some kind of disconnect in terms of what I wanted in the future. What do I want to concentrate on now that I've worked in multiple jobs? But I also wanted to have like a niche, like Michael has said. That's why I remember, like, you have to identify like that self introspection of who am I? What do I want to do? Where am I going? So when you are at that point and you see your volunteering activities are not matching with what you can do, even if you are in a full-time job, you can still volunteer. So this is where my point I wanted to say that at that point I saw that there was a gap in terms of what I was doing. And what a better way to go back to the volunteering, because I had done that in the past. So it was easier for me to identify organizations where I can also affiliate myself and do the volunteering. In that way, it was amplifying my CV, as well as for scholarship applications, as well as job opportunities, because I wanted to position myself for job opportunities in terms of the jobs that I was looking for, as well as the scholarships I was looking for. So if you feel like at some point in your life, even if you're in a full-time job, but you feel like you have skills that are lacking at that particular point in time, tap into the volunteering. It might be just going back to your community and volunteer in the certain aspect that you a skill that you want to learn. It can be you starting, or just identify organizations where you can affiliate yourself and volunteer your time. It might be 2 hours in a week. Enough.
Wow, thank you so much. This is quite interesting. So I made some point down which I want to quickly mention. Be the to go person. So when it comes to tree planting, everyone like is Evelyn. So what brand do you want to be known for? What message are you passing out about yourself? So I really love that. And also make sure you don't have to put everything inside your CV or inside your application. So Michael, you reminded me of my supervisor. He keeps telling me, you have so much data. Everything cannot go inside. You need to just pick something and tell a story. Everything cannot go inside. So that's actually great. Also, you mentioned that when you were the person was reading your I think your work or something, it was clear, it was complete. So it's like the 7 C's of communication: clear, concise, complete. Because it's not, people are not in your head. They don't know what's in your head. They only know what's on paper and pen. So how do you tell this experience in your application? And that takes into the next thing, which I want to mention: the STAR approach. That is, what did you do? What are the situation? What do you do? What activities, the results? So these are ways to apply. These are steps, or like a model to apply your experience in your application, be it scholarship, whatever it is. It actually helps tell the story and put it all together. And finally, to say something else. Yeah, I think that is fine. So let's quickly proceed. We are really pressed of time. The next question came in from what Michael said. So volunteering is good, very good, but it has its challenges. So you can tell me from your own personal experience, what are the challenges? I know one of them can be like putting everything into application. That is one dimension. But what are other challenges? Or maybe even money. People like, I can't work for free. Maybe it's the money part. What is it? What are the challenges that come with volunteering? So anybody can just kick it up. Anybody?
Michael, you want me to go? I can go. Okay, yeah. So I'll start with one of the challenges that I felt like with volunteering. For me, I would say the first one is when we are looking for volunteering in terms of organizations, you might be that they are limited in terms of where the youth can find that volunteering opportunities if they want to go through like organizations. And another one, it would be if you are looking at volunteering, for example, at a larger scale, it is also difficult for the youths coming in from, I would say, output developing nations, developing countries, to also go to that bigger space in terms of volunteering. But when I want to come into the other side in terms of volunteering, would be another challenge would be if you have an idea and you want to work in the community. Another challenge would be like having that people not believing in what you want to do and having like more like a backlash in terms of what you want to do in the community or in whatever space that you find yourself in. So it can be a challenge for example, or young people. I'll just mention of young people because mostly we also encourage volunteering for young people because it also boosts up their CVs boosting up whatever it is they want to do in terms of applications, future applications. So it's a good way for you, but at the same time, they are also energetic individuals, which they are energetic, they can do so much. So it can be a challenge if you have like an idea in your head and you want to have like masses rally behind you for you to start. So which brings into the other challenge of resources. So the resources would be like like having to convince your friends or the community to rally behind you. The money, some activities will also require money. How do you convince someone to sponsor your activities? So you want to reach out to like with the communities who require money. How do you find that money? How do you source? So you need also to be creative in terms of how you find the money to channel your volunteering activities. So those are some of the challenges I could think of right now. But I think Michael and Evelyn can also chip in. When I remember something else, I'll come back. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Before Mike is keeping, I'd like everyone to speak, give us a different dimension because I think I like the issue of the money part and every organization. I believe finance was a big issue, but how did you maneuver that with your volunteering and other things that comes with the set of the organization? What were the challenges?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I must admit there are several challenges while you're volunteering. For one to really sail through, you must be very resilient
I love
and
that.
patient, yes, and
That's the word.
know what you want and know what kind of niche. I want to borrow Mike's word, and my friend, what you really want to achieve in future. Just as said, I've been volunteering for the past 15 years, and it has not been easy.
No.
As my friend said, you need resources, definitely, because you have to invest and you need to be paid for that particular activity you are doing. And so you have to be innovative in one way or the other, just to ensure you do not break down. In this era, everybody's talking about mental health and mental well-being. If you are not resilient, just as I said, and you're not strong enough, you will break down while you are volunteering. So that is why my advice to anybody, honestly, who is trying to volunteer, create a way of being innovative. And I insist on saying that with the organization I did start definitely green environment promotion. We have several programs that I initiated. One is environment. I already mentioned how over 2 million trees have been planted, and my target is to plant 1 billion. It's not been easy. It needed resources, and that is why the different groups that I formed, which I'm training on other income generating initiatives of women, they've offered to volunteer to come and do some tree planting. That is not paid, definitely. Because if I was paying for that service of the women groups I work with, it would be very, very hectic and very depressing. So in one way or the other, you must create some innovation just to ensure what you're doing is sustainable. I did construct a school, right, in the rural community. The parents in the rural communities are unable to afford basic school fees. I don't know how to convert this in pounds because all dollars, because I know most of you are living in developed countries, I presume. But the rural school that I did found after my undergraduate, the parents were requested to pay one point something dollars, which is like 5,000. That was so hard for them. That might be not like impossible for somebody to really believe, but as somebody who lived and worked in rural communities, I believe it was hard. And that is why I came up by innovating or initiating a women empowerment program where women were trained on several income generating activities like making crafts, like rearing, these pigs, sheep, and things for them to have that income. But in the crafts they were making, definitely, this was a rural area. There's no way they would sell their crafts anywhere. And that is why I thought through some other innovation, being creative and starting up a community-based tourism program whereby the rural community would attract, Americans, Europeans, tourists to come into the community. And this would definitely, the rural women would tap into, selling their crafts into these places. Now, while one is volunteering, definitely, it gets very draining, very challenging if you're volunteering and you do not have any resources, around. And you are in the space and in the center of seeing people who need, and you're trying to champion this, this positive change. So for you not to break down, not to have a mental shutdown, you definitely have to be innovative. It's true the demand is high because as somebody who has won several awards, who everybody speaks about, definitely planting 2 million trees is not something easy. People will definitely get to know you. You will find everybody wants to be part of your space, right? And it is so hard to say no because you're a champion who has offered to volunteer and speak the gospel of sustainability, the, the gospel of fighting absolute poverty, the gospel of enhancing education capability in the most remote rural communities, the gospel of teaching women to be climate change agents. So when you're called upon, it gets very hard to say no resources. So it's really consumes time, true, but which you really have to sacrifice. However, for you to really balance the boat, you just have to create some innovations and see how to go around. However, it's when you're volunteering, definitely you must have a wild social capital network. But there are people who will not understand why somebody like a Jero would definitely offer her life to volunteer. They look at you like you're really berserk and mad, right? So it is really good to have a social network of people that believe in you and really stand the ground and believe in your cause to have that legacy attitude, via volunteering. So I think that is what I would say, and I will definitely add after Mike has
All right, thank you so much. I know we're already pressed of time. We have questions on the chat. So, Michael, you want to just quickly add something, then we can start taking questions? If that's okay.
So what I want to mention, it has been mentioned, but just an emphasis, especially if I want to make an emphasis for, sorry, okay, I just want to make an emphasis, especially for students that intend to volunteer. Evelyn mentioned about is time consuming.
It
Yes, and
is.
you have to balance your volunteering activity with your studies.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Yes,
can. I can. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes, we
yes.
can hear you.
Okay, good. I thought so. Also, I was trying to make a reference to the student life because when you're looking to also volunteer, there's every need for you to balance your activities with your studies because at the end of the day, you need to come out with a stronger academic record to be able to know that and show that your volunteering activities actually really helped you in your journey. So it's very very. I remember when I mentioned that when I started mine also, and it was getting to my final year in school. I was supposed to, like, as everybody has known in the department, like go to become the president of the department. But I tried something the year before. It affected my academic standing, so I had to, yeah, adjust my sitting. I tried going to the student union, so instead of the department, so the activities actually affected my academic results, which I had to come back, like have a seat back, then relaunch back later. But yeah, so it's very important that we balance activities with what's it called, with our academic standing. I think that's what I would like to add. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I love the word balance. I love the word from Chim. She said creative and everyone said innovative. I really love those words. That's very, very strong points. So we have a question we'll try to wrap up soon, so please forgive me. I know we are really past the hour. I have a question from Gloria, and it says, how do I include volunteering experience with an individual, not organization, like working without pay for individuals to gain a particular skill? And the question continues, why including volunteering experience? Oh, okay, I think is it two questions?
I think there are two questions. Yeah.
Question. Okay, let's take
Let's take the first one.
all right, so anyone can go for it.
So I would go first, but then I would say that volunteering, whether with an individual, or with an organization, is just a matter of, like Michael said, how you present your story, what you did, how that other person benefited, and how you also benefited in the same transaction. So how you apply that in your write-up, for example, if it's scholarship, you identify the area that your story best fits in your, for example, in your essays. So do you want to highlight that as a leadership? Do you want to highlight that as a network? Do you want to highlight? So how it best fits in your essays, that also you highlight that. So also you also highlight what are the particular skills you gained from that. So now highlight them also. Did you learn, like, for example, writing skills, communication skills, or interpersonal, anything at all that you gained from that particular transaction? That's also that you also would want to highlight that as you are putting up that application. So whether it's an individual or an organization, all those which are deemed to be volunteering experiences, it's just a matter of identifying the type of application you are making and how you fix that.
Well, thank you so much. Before I want to respond to that, I just want to highlight that Gloria is part of my mentee, and she's also part of the volunteer community. She makes flyers for the event. So, Gloria, thank you so much, and it's nice to have you on the session here with us. So, thank you so much. Does anyone also want to respond before I move to our next question? Okay, should I go? Okay, please go on.
Okay, let me just say that so as Chimola said, it doesn't really matter whom you volunteer with. Basically, it doesn't matter the name or whatever it is, as much as you can craft your writings to show your strength, to show how it has transformed you as a person, to show how it has impacted your academic journey, how it has impacted your leadership style, how it has impacted your communication skills. So all of these things is about what you actually gain from that interaction. Because believe you me, as much as we are having this webinar, one of the things that will end up building are communication skills,
Yeah,
presentation skills, how you can speak in front of people. These are the things that will help you. So by the time I now go back, maybe in the next 2-3 weeks, I want to reflect on this. I will reflect, yes, this has helped me to speak in front of people, present online, create webinars, and draft points. So at the end of the day, the major thing is the impact the journey has had on you as a person. So once you're able to identify those impacts, then it's easy to write from there. That is it.
yeah, I really love that word, impact, impact. I think also not impact on you, but impact on society. So, for example, Gloria, you make flyers for this event. Now, imagine your flyers reach 100 people or 400 people, and they came to the webinar. You've made an impact, Gloria. Your flyer reached people. So, if you can hear me, say hi, Gloria. So, impact for yourself, impact for society. I really love that. Thank you so much. Evelyn, do you want to say anything before we move to the next question?
I request we move on to another question.
Okay, great. Thank you. And this is from Gloria again. Okay, so why including volunteering experience? Is it best to showcase the organization you're working with, say international organization or skills work done with small organization? Okay, like ours, like a smaller one, but it's fine. All right. So who wants to respond to that?
So maybe let me just respond to that. It doesn't really matter.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I think that's the word for it. It doesn't matter. So far you can write about it. It doesn't matter. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
That's
I
it. I
also
want.
chip in. I think Gloria, it doesn't matter because my organization, I don't think it is big or it was big by the time I did start it. I did begin it as an individual, a very young girl from a rural community that has no water, that has no electricity, but it is now getting known. And to your surprise, I think a few years ago, one other big platform in Uganda that is called Southwestern Regional Development Forum, chose me to be part of their board. And through my organization, I came in under a civil society organization. Through this small organization, I started. So it really does not matter. All you need is the experience, the skill, and building that niche you want people to know. From the organization is about, I will mention about, environment or climate, because, that is where my expertise is. Go for it. If it is something, with gender, build from that, it doesn't matter how big it is. You have to start small. I think Michael just made a statement about, starting small. All you need are those baby steps in volunteering to build your CV, because all you need is your CV to grow and push you to greater heights.
Yeah. Just to add on that question, to say, is it showcasing the organization. While it might be good to showcase the organization, it just depends on how you want to. Okay, let me just. Sorry about that. Someone was calling me. Okay, so I think it's just a matter of how you want to showcase that organization in that write-up. So it might not be that you want to showcase the entire organization. So it's just maybe a simple sentence that I was working with this organization which does tree planting, and then you continue to showcase more about you and your impact and what else you gained from that. So I think that's how you want to position yourself or to write about the organization that you've worked with, because what they want to see is what you did, how the work that you did impacted others, or helped others out.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, so I think we don't have much question, which is good. So we'll try to wrap up now, and I know Michael wants to run. So can we just maybe possibly whatever we want to mention that we think we have not addressed that's important, can just use that, each of you, like final words or something that is actually important that we should say that or just something important. Just that should be like your last summary. Then we'll call it tonight. Yeah. So let's start with Michael because I think he wants to leave.
I think for me, what is important is that we keep ourselves informed, because there are a lot of opportunities to volunteer around us. That's the first thing. You don't need to start your own. Just key into someone's idea, and then you can move from there. So just be informed with the happenings around you. I was hoping I would also mention, because one of the opportunities I also missed because I wanted to do everything, but I couldn't do everything. But maybe someone else can be able to enjoy from that. I don't know. In Nigeria, I think it's not only in Nigeria. There's this body called ISEC. Has anybody heard of it before? ISEC.
Can you tell us the
Maybe it's in
acronym?
Nigeria.
What's the acronym?
Let me spell it on the
Okay,
group.
that would be great, please.
It's I. Yeah.
While you explain that, you have a question that came in,
Is
so just help us speak as late. So, Michael, are you good? All right. Okay.
yes. It's ISEC. So it's present in, I think, some universities in Nigeria and also in West Africa. Yeah. So this is an organization that um, like help in doing exchange programs where people can volunteer in other institutions outside the shores of Nigeria or outside the shores of countries in West Africa. So whichever one it is. So I missed that actually when in school, because I would have learned a lot of industrial experience, teaching experience, community, even this planting of trees itself. It's also part of the program. So this is basically for anyone who is currently in university in study right now. You could search this up, and who knows, you could benefit from it. So you can do this anytime during the year. I think mostly in the holidays. So this would also help in building your profile or your experience. So as much as possible, let's be informed about what is happening around us for us to gain these experiences, and who knows, building from the little points will eventually become a big entity in the future to come. I wish you the best.
Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you. So before we wrap up, can we just please help answer this question from Karen, please? Anyone?
Yeah, yes. Okay, so I think we answered this or highlighted somewhere, but I'll go back to it that when you're applying for a school, like in terms of highlighting other volunteering experiences not related to the program. Okay, yeah. So for that one, it's like singling out what that scholarship or the job application requires you to do. So you might have like some other skills or technical expertise that you've gained from a particular volunteering experience. So you can take that and apply on that other job or school. Or other volunteering activities might give you a leverage in terms of technical expertise, in terms of thematic knowledge. So it's just a matter of just putting your volunteering activities on paper and singling out what did you learn from this? What were you doing? What was the end result? What was the impact? And then you look at the scholarship or the school that you're applying for. What are they looking for? Is it in this particular volunteering activity? Is it in this particular volunteering activity? And then you try to match that to that volunteering activity. So it might not match in terms of thematics, but it might match in terms of other softer skills. Is it communication skills? Is it writing skills? Is it public speaking skills? So you can single out that kind of the skill sets that you're gaining from them and put that in your application. In other volunteering activities, now you are putting up the thematic the thematic skills that you learned that are very particular to that kind of course or job that is required of you. So, yeah.
Yeah, because of time, I think we should take the next question. Or do you want to respond to the previous? That's fine. I can always go back. Should I go back?
Myself, no.
Okay. So what about this one? Anyone? This particular one? They want us to actually give them the food in the mouth.
Sorry, okay, I think I have to comment. I think service here as a core member is one of the juicy part of volunteering. The network is
But we can hear you. We
slow.
can hear you. And just Jamaica,
You can hear
just
me?
to help Evelyn and the other speaker, it's service here is when you finish your bachelor's, you serve your country for 1 year because they are not Nigerians. Michael, you're the only Nigerian here, so
Yes. Sir.
you need to explain for the others. Yeah. All right.
All right. So as Joy has mentioned, so during that period, you get to leave the community you are known with. Maybe you served in you schooled in the north, then you could be posted to like the south or the west to serve a community as a core member. So that is what it is. And why I said it is the most juicy point of opportunity to volunteer is because I don't know how the schedule of a medical doctor could be in the point of service, but you could now venture into other areas based on how well you can manage your time. That, oh, I see a need in the community. This is where even businesses start from as a core member. This is where your passion becomes, let's say, bettered out to the community. So there are opportunities if you can see them. There are always a lot, in as much as you are not even in the space that you are aware of. You might be thinking of, I remember in my own time, yes, I I was in a school, yes, I served in the north, and I was in a school. I saw a need that the school had, and I was like, how best can I manage this? So ideas began to pop into my head. How can I do it? How can we source for funding to engage this thing? I was thinking of so many ideas, so many resolutions to that issue that the school was having. And believe you me, one of the reasons why I was in that community is to provide that solution at that point in time. That is what many people don't know. You have been placed there to do something different. And when you're not used to a community, it's easier for you to see a problem, identify a problem, and then provide a solution. But when you are in a space that you are conversant with, you think is the norms. You think that is the way it should be. So it's not that easy for you to provide a solution. But I can tell you that as a core member, there are so many opportunities where you are currently. So no one can identify those opportunities because we are not in the same place with you. We can only give you pointers. Look at what gives help, what can help the community where you are. Look at what can help that hospital where you are. It can start as much as seeing the need for a shade in that hospital space. It can start as little as that. Speak with the hospital. How can we do this? It can start as creating something that will comfort your staff. It can even be a biomedical resolution in the hospital itself. How can surgical processes be easier? I don't know. See, it depends on where you are. So this is always unique. That is where it is. Thank you.
Okay, anyone?
Thank you.
No one? Okay, I think we should try to wrap up. But before we wrap up, I want to say something. While everyone was speaking, she said she built over 2 million trees and she didn't do it alone. She used the help of others. And I was all thinking, okay, I have mentors that work with me, but also it's good to also have people that can host these webinars on their own without me, so it will have a wider reach. And someone just sent this message. I think is it Evaritos or something? Yeah. Forgive me for the pronounce name. That they want to learn how to have such webinars. So I'm really glad that my thoughts, someone was also thinking my thought because it's good that I do it. Also, Chime also does her own, but I think more people doing it, the better. That's the truth. So
Yeah.
you can reach out to me, and also I think I can also reach out to. Should I reach out to you, Manaso? Can I reach out to you?
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll reach out to you, and I don't know if Evelyn, do you do webinars? Do you?
No, I've not done that, and I actually wanted to make a comment and say, every day, each and everybody of us has a chance to better their lives, but you cannot be the best without a friend, without some other person. There's always something to learn. And I really want to take this opportunity to thank 𝐒𝐤, honestly, for being so selfless. What a space it is being part of, of this webinar. I've learned a lot, definitely. I've been motivated more. I'm quite so sure other learners have been motivated, but thank you so very much. You're really impacting thousands of lives, by creating this space. And definitely I will also post, because there's quite so many people who want to tap in our expertise, but all we have to do is to create this space. So you've just been a motivation, and thank you. Keep on doing it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well, like I normally said, I have a supportive team. Like Masano, she's always there. Even she's busy today, but she's like, okay, I'll come. So thank you, because it's not just you can't do it alone. I might want to do it, but if I don't have the human resource, like you said, the network, I can't do much. So thanks to both of you for also coming. So just let us wrap up. So like last word from you, Masano, last word from me, Evelyn, then call it a night.
Okay. So my last word would be, just like Michael had said in the past, just do that self-introspection on what you want to do, and also do something that is you're passionate about. Don't just do it just because you want that job, you want that scholarship, because by the end of the day you end up in a post or in a job that you don't like, just because you just affiliated yourself to a volunteering activity that you did not like. So the one that you're passionate about, go for that one. At the same time, look around you in the community. What is it that is happening around you that you also be part of, and join that. At the same time, also look around, look at yourself in terms of what skills do you want to gain from that. It can be like it's a soft skill that you want it. If anyone had known me from way back, I don't think right now they're like, oh, Chimama is also on this webinar. She's online, she's doing all of these kind of things. But what is helping me is developing that public speaking skills. And
Yeah.
also, if I go out of this platform, that means I can speak in front of other people, in front of many crowds, because I am developing myself to be here. And I can't see you guys, but you are watching me. So that's that's also, it takes courage for someone to be here, to be talking to people that they can't see, but the people are listening to you. So that also in itself is building yourself in terms of how do you approach other people in terms of crowds, how do you speak to people. So you might think that, oh, it's a small thing that I'm doing, but at the end of it all, it is also developing you as a person, and you can apply that to multiple other spaces that you find yourself in. And the best part is you have the best net, or you have the network that you want, because through these networks it's where you get also information in what is happening out there, because you have placed yourself in a position of working with other people, because you can't do the volunteering activities without other people. So it also benefits you in as much as it benefits the community or the other people that you're working with. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I love it. Public speaking. That's good. Thank you so much. And thank you for all the service and the great work. Thank you. And our guest speaker for today. Sorry, I have to call her guest speaker because this is her first time, okay? Evelyn is her guest speaker. Our guest speaker for today.
Thank you very much. Mine is like a concluding statement and question by asking our listeners what finds you. And I just want to speak to the youth, those who are really looking for scholarships, is that it took me 7 years to really know what I must master in. 7 years, because definitely I had to first volunteer in a community. I'm still volunteering to really know what I wanted. So sit back, step back, and think through where you want your career to take you forward. Don't just rush into, getting a scholarship, after your undergraduate, and you really not made up your mind on what you really want. But just as said, what defines you? I definitely know what defines Evelyn, what I want in life, where I want to be in the, tomorrow and in the future, and I definitely focus on that. And those are my, last remarks for this webinar. But all I know is that you can do it if you really choose what you really want in life. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You can do it. I love that.
Yeah.
You can do it. Thank you so much. It's been a very good conversation. We had a lot of good comments on people on WhatsApp as well as on the call. So people actually watching. So thank you so much. We've inspired people today. We've also exposed people to opportunities that they haven't thought of before. Like for me, example, I've been inspired to help people to host this kind of webinars. So thanks to you, Evelyn. You inspired me just on the call. So and thanks to 𝐒𝐞𝐭'𝐬 for always reminding me of public speaking, because I'm like, God help me. So thank you so much. This call makes us become better. So thank you so much for all your wise words, for the inspiration we give people out there, and for also teaching them. Most times, because these things are free, we think people don't really appreciate it at times, but this is actually quality and valuable information. So please, let's take advantage of it. Let us do. And Michael said one thing which I think is very important, because the fact you volunteer does not mean you should not have a balance. And you should also know when to say no, because it's very important. Because I remember somebody messaged me by 2 a.m. started asking me a question. I'm like, God, I'm volunteering, but I should know my limits. So just to say to everyone, thank you for joining in from different parts of the Africa and outside Africa, and we hope to see you in the next webinar. And thanks to our people's mentor, Buki. Buki, send hi. So thank you, Buki. I hope you join us next time. So thanks everyone and have a good evening. Bye.
Bye.